Hello, my fellow YouTubers. This is Roy back again. No, that's not a replica of the Twin Towers. This is the apparatus that we're going to use as our collector. It's going to be in the ground. This here is a half-inch iron plate. That big plate's a half-inch thick. And these are the inch and a half square stock iron from Ed Leach Gallon's PMH. Not from this PMH, but it's the same stock. And I got everything wrapped with aluminum tape for a really good conductor on top of the iron. And then I got these welding rods all welded. And I was just checking to make sure we have continuity. So we have continuity coming through. This is going to be my wire coming up from the ground. I picked a nice thick braided wire. Now this thing is going to sit underneath this pole here. And there's my collector, which is the round sphere with all the little uh, points sticking out of it, and it's collecting static. And the ground one will be collecting underneath the ground. Right here at the base, I'm going to dig a hole about 3 feet deep, and then have that wire coming up. And then we're going to have the wire coming up from the ground, and then we have the wire coming down from the upper collector, and we'll run a dual transmission line into my workshop, and we'll run them right next to each other, right down by the wall, and we'll have both wires come out here. And what we're going to do is we are going to start oscillating these two components um, with a oscillating circuit. So one thing I want to show you guys here, this is an oscillating circuit. I have, let me see, these two adjustments here. One's a fine tuning, and that's a regular tuning. And these pins here, this will right here, where I have it set, will be from 1 kilohertz to 33 kilohertz. Let me look back here on my notes. 33 kilohertz. Let me come back over here in my notes to make sure you're getting the right data. So I believe so what we have here is we're going to start off with 1 kilohertz. I have it hooked to a speaker, let you hear it. 1 kilohertz to 330 kilohertz. That's that one pin. The next pin is 10 kilohertz to 3.3 megahertz. And then the next pin is 100 kilohertz to 33 megahertz. And that's the highest it goes in megahertz, which is fast. And one thing I noticed is with sound, only the first pin you can hear. Everything else is too high. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Right here, I'm coming in with 12 volts. The 12 volts is feeding this reducer, and then this is knocking it down to 3.2, putting it in the oscillator. But then I'm feeding off the 12 volts and going into a transistor and feeding this with an oscillating 12 volts at a frequency adjustment as I choose. You ready? right there is like a little bit below dog whistle. That's dog whistle. You don't even hear it. Okay, now I'll lower it down. Woo! The dogs are running. Oh, he ain't moving. So the object here is we're gonna oscillate the ground along with the air currents, and then we're gonna store them, and we're gonna build a circuitry that recognizes which pole is present at which station. We'll call the ground station, and the upper uh, top load, we'll call it, station. And when we have storms come in, the object here is the storm will put a high static pressure in the air when the clouds come in. I'm down in Florida, and uh, when that electric comes to that top load and gets collected, the opposing electric in the ground will show up at with this guy. So then we'll have a difference in potential, a good difference in potential between ground and the static air collector. And we'll start putting circuitry in place to capture that, run motors, run lights, charge car batteries, and maybe we could get around some solar or incorporate it with solar. But um, I like to see it charging batteries at nighttime. Be a great setup. All right, you guys, leave your comments. Peace out. Like to say hi to all my followers and keep leaving their comments. Peace out.